Oh, quite a few films.
Okay, so welcome everyone. Today's session is called Serving the World. Please feel free to write your name in the chat box and say where you're joining us from today. And if you want to, you might like to add why, what inspired you to join this session today, what you hope to get out of it. We'll just take a few moments to allow everybody to come in from the waiting room. My experience is people tend to arrive a bit late. So we'll just leave a minute or two for them to join and then we can get started. Do we have anybody in chat? Anybody putting anything in chat? Oh, somebody's in a camper van in a bus station in Somerset. That's Paul. Hi, Paul. Yeah, I think we've got almost 30 people in now. Everybody's shy, they're not saying where they're coming from. But I recognize a few people. Okay. So we'll get started. This event is part of a 6-day conference organized by the Foundation for Developing Compassion and Wisdom. And today's session is 90 minutes long and is being recorded. This is the second session on day 5 of the conference. And if you missed any of the previous presentations on the last 4 days of the conference and you would like to catch up, you can go to our website to the conference page and you'll find video links where you can watch the previous sessions. My name is Victoria Coleman and I'm the Executive Director of FDCW. Just to share a little bit about what that is, FDCW provides courses and resources to help strengthen universal values. By viewing our daily experiences through the lens of these values, we can learn to manage our negative emotions better, create space for wiser choices. The content of the courses is inspired by Buddhist wisdom and philosophy, but without any religious elements. Our courses are presented in an interactive way, using scientific research and current theories in psychology. This system of inner learning can transform challenging emotions, build better relationships, and bring a more stable, lasting happiness. We call it universal education. And our founder of universal education was Lama Thupten Nyeshe. And he said, the highest potential of each human being is great kindness and understanding, having sensitivity to the needs of others and understanding their ultimate needs. Our patron is His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who has said, the most important question we can ask for a better world is, how can we serve each other? So if this sounds interesting to you, please take a look at our website, compassionwisdom.org, browse through our free resources, download our app, and see what courses are coming up. We're offering Discovering the Wisdom of Neuroscience, Unlocking Your Potential, and Building Balance Empathy, 3 courses that are coming up in January and February. So you can have a look at our calendar. I'm delighted to introduce our speaker today, Andy Wistreich. Let me share a little bit about Andy. Andy is a retired drama teacher and education manager. He first became involved with universal education more than 40 years ago. He's been a Dharma teacher ever since then. He has continually worked to make teachings and meditations on compassion wisdom relevant and accessible by using dialogical approaches. He's also co-developed with Venerable Connie Miller a teacher training program called Teacher Development Services Seminar. This is for educators and teachers within the FPMT Buddhist Global Network. When I first met Andy 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, he had just come out of retreat and he was very inspired. And he was talking to me about his vision for a retreat centre in the UK. And I thought, well, that sounds really nice. I'm so happy he's so inspired. That'll never happen. Well, I didn't know Andy because it did happen. Just a few years later, he, with his determination, founded this centre by galvanizing other people to come together, inspiring them, being determined. And that centre is called the Land of Joy in Cumbria. And that's just a small slice of what he's done in his life, but it's an example. I find him to be a very inspiring, passionate, committed person, very ethical and very generous with his time and his skills. And I feel lucky that he's a friend of mine. And I'm also delighted that he's agreed to lead this workshop today for us, and excited to hear what he has to share. So without further blah, blah, blah from me, I'm going to hand over to Andy. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Victoria, for that very warm welcome. And I'm absolutely blown away by the people in this Zoom space that I recognize and know, some of whom I haven't seen for a very long time. So a big hug to everybody I know, and some kind of less intense welcome to everybody I don't know. But actually I do know a lot of you. So thanks very much for coming. It's very touching, very, very touching. Now, this seminar today, or workshop, whatever we want to call it, is called Serving the World. And that's quite a big thing, really, to talk about and explore. And we're going to do it mainly through meditation, actually. And we're going to use the meditations to spark discussion. Okay, so that's kind of going to be the methodology of this workshop. And it's hard to express, you know, at my ripe old age of 71, nearly 72, what an extraordinary time we are in right now, considering that, you know, I've lived through quite a lot of extraordinary times in a way. But it feels to me that the world needs us more than ever to step up and contribute whatever positive energy and ideas and activities that we possibly can. I mean, you know, in my case, I've lived through precarious times in the past. I remember we thought the world would come to an end in 1982. I actually, you know, thought there was going to be a nuclear war. And actually, I didn't think I'd live beyond 1982 as well. So both of those expectations were confounded. And now it feels like we're at the end of the world again in some ways. But it's not necessarily the case. And it really depends on us and all, especially humans of this planet, in terms of consciousness. This is my own conviction, is that what will, dare I say, save the world, it's kind of a bit of a cliche, but what will save the world, if anything will, it's a transformation of our collective human consciousness. And obviously, universal education is totally about that. And so, you know, it's with no reservation that I'm very, very happy to contribute something towards this festival and, you know, lead this session. In my own life, I think I've got to the point now where almost everything I do has some kind of serving the world focus, whether it's my own personal meditation practice every morning, or my interaction with my family, for instance. You know, I've got 4 sons who are all serving the world, and, you know, so I interact with them as my proxies to some extent. But then also various groups that I'm connected with, whether they're within Buddhism or outside Buddhism. For instance, the workshop we're going to do today was first delivered to a group called Trust the People, which is based here in the UK. And it's a group that trains people in community organizing, including how to generate participatory democracy in communities. And that's something that I am personally very committed to. I believe that the transformation of consciousness we need will only come from a bottom-up approach. I've personally really lost faith in top-down solutions, and the recent COP26 is no exception to that. It's not even a disillusion anymore. I think I lost my illusions a while back, if I had any. So I think we all need to get on where we are in doing what we can to generate the causes for a positive future for us, for this world in general. And so for me, serving the world is about that. Now we're going to have a little check-in, and we're going to do it in breakouts because there are that many of us. And I believe that the breakouts will have some language commonality. That's good. And in the breakout, you'll be only in a group of 4, and so you'll have about 2 minutes each. And just share with the group your name, where you're from, and what is your experience of the connections between serving the world and your spiritual practice. And when I say spiritual, I don't mean religious. By spiritual, I just mean the kind of inner life that enables us to reach beyond the immediate sort of physical situation we're in. So what's your name? Where are you from? And what for you in your life is the connection between serving the world and your spiritual practice? And be strict with yourself, only allow a maximum of 2 minutes. That way we'll be back in about 10 minutes time. Okay. I'll leave Michaela to set up the groups.
Thank you. So I've set up the groups. I've tried to make an educated guess as to the languages. If the language is incorrect, please return to the main room and we put you into the correct room. So please be patient with us. Okay. So I'm going to open the breakout rooms right now.
Nice. Oh, Robin, wow. Okay, I think that's probably everybody back. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now you've met 3 other people and in a little bit more depth, some of whom you may have known already. And now we're going to do a meditation, which will last us about 15 minutes, okay? And we'll begin with settling the body. But, you know, you need to be on a seat where you're comfortable, and you need to sit with a straight back. It is possible to meditate lying down, but again, the straight back is very important. So just bring your mind inside your body. And once you do that, you become aware of energy within your body. You might become aware of some other things like aches and pains or pleasant feelings. But you can notice the energy. Just observe it. You don't have to do anything with it. And now let your energy settle. It's a little bit like when the water in a pond has been stirred up, and then slowly the sediment settles again on the bottom of the pond. And as your energy settles, feel your connection to the earth. Underneath the building where you are is our Mother Earth. And together with the sun and the space around the earth, our Mother Earth has created us. And all the species, the living beings, the plant life, and the Earth's atmosphere that we breathe. The water we drink, the food we eat, she provides everything that we need for life. I keep saying she because she is very much like a mother who has given birth to us and all her children. And like a mother, she sustains us. But don't just think about Mother Earth, feel her beneath you. And through this connection, acknowledge and feel your connection to everybody else in this group, in this world. You don't have to use words. You don't have to think too much. Just feel the energy of your connection with Mother Earth. It can be quite a warm feeling in the lower part of your body. And now bring your attention up your body, right to the top of your head. And continue with your imagination going upwards above you, through the ceiling, through the roof of the building. If there are clouds, you can go through the clouds in your mind. And feel your connection to the sky. The vast, spacious expanse within which Mother Earth is situated. And we can talk about Father Sky and see ourselves as a child of both these parents, with their different relationships to us. And our relationships with them. And just as a child kind of brings together the two parents within themselves, similarly, we bring together the earth and the sky. And bring your attention now to your heart space. You can make this space initially the area within your rib cage. This is the center of your physical being, a central area. And just be there, feeling how you bring together your Mother Earth and your Father Sky in your heart space. And within your heart space, feel the energies moving. Are they moving very intensely, energetically, or are they quite gentle? Make your heart space bigger. It can go beyond your body. For example, it could be the size of the room. But give those energies enough space to move freely. Don't try to hold them. Don't restrict them. Just allow them to be what they need to be. You can make your heart space the size of the earth, or even bigger. It's very flexible. And within your heart space, you have connections with your communities. Most of us have several communities. Our family, for example. The people who live around us, physically, geographically, if you like. Could be the same apartment block, or the same street, or the same village, or town, or city. And then nowadays, most of us have communities that go beyond that, as evidenced by this Zoom call. We're from all over the world, and somehow we're all connected. So feel your connection with your communities. And observe the energies in your heart space of your relationship to your communities. And feel your heart opening to your communities in this meditation. It's a very expansive feeling. It's a very powerful feeling. And make your heart space sufficiently large that you can hold your communities in your heart space without tightness, holding them gently, calmly, and above all, with an open heart. And it includes some individuals with whom you have difficulty. But your heart space is big enough that the energies of any conflict, for instance, can be held without fear or anxiety. It's not only your heart which is open, your mind is open in the sense that you are open to other people's ideas, cultures, and so forth, which may be different from your own. You may have disagreements, but you acknowledge and accept those with whom you have differences. Ideally, you accept everyone in your communities and every part of everyone. This requires a great openness of heart and mind. Just absorb your mind as we finish with this experience. Open heart, open mind. Okay, gradually return to your room, your screen, to the session. And once again, you're going to go back to your breakout group, the same group, because you've already met each other. And I would like you to share with the other members of your group your experiences from the meditation. There is a general question which is how can our spiritual or inner practice help us in serving the world, but come from experience, not theory, and particularly the experiences that arose during the meditation. And please make sure that each person gets plenty of opportunity to speak, especially in the introduction. So first of all, give each person time without being interrupted to, share whatever they wish, maybe a couple of minutes each, and then there'll be time for more open discussion. You've got 15 minutes altogether. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's everybody back. So I'd like to open it up now for you to share anything with the whole group, especially if there was something in your small group discussion that you think that is a really important point. Or there could be something from your small group where you couldn't resolve something, like a question that you'd like to share with the whole group. So would somebody like to share something? Just put your hand up and I'll invite you to speak. Paul, I think your hand's up.
It is, yeah. Just massive thanks, Andy. That was 15 minutes of just unbelievable power. The whole group were really moved by the practice and this idea of creating such a huge space in your heart to embrace your every being. And it's just amazing. I mean, just talking about it as well had a sort of an additional impact from the meditation that you guided. So that process of sharing that experience and then talking about the experience seemed really complementary and enhance each other. So just want to say massive gratitude from me for what you've just done. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so this methodology of leading a meditation and then going into groups and small groups and sharing is perfectly suitable on Zoom, but it also works if you're in a room together. So it's something that you all might like to think about for the future. And also then doing what we're doing now, which is to come back into the whole group and share across the whole group. Would anybody else like to share something at this point? I'm looking. Oh yes, Tal, yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
Well, hi, I'm glad. So good to see you. Well, it's not new to me that whenever you lead a meditation, it takes me, the highest I can get. It's been like that for many years. But this special meditation and the fact that it wasn't religious, just, to connect with sky, earth, and then open your heart, the endless compassion that you gain by that. If people, not, Buddhist practitioners, could practice this, it could be a tremendous change, it changes everything. Your point of view, how you feel. So I think it's one of the greatest tools we can use, this meditation. It's wonderful.
Wow, that's very moving, Tal. And, this transformation of consciousness that I mentioned at the beginning is kind of essential for the whole world. And so this kind of tool, yeah, I agree. I think it's very helpful. And it's something that I've used a lot in non-Buddhist groups, It actually, it's no conflict with Buddhism at all. But as you said, it's not a religious meditation. It is, the sky and the earth are very important in many indigenous cultures. It's kind of fundamental to being a human on this earth, that these are in a way, they're like our parents. And also, if you think it's the sky and the earth together that create the Earth's atmosphere, which is the air we breathe. It wouldn't exist without, actually, no, it needs the sun as well. So the sun is kind of missing, but anyway, yeah. Okay, anybody else like to share? Please. It's really nice to hear from you, if you want to say something. Yeah, Robin, please, yeah. You need to unmute. You're muted, yeah.
I want to echo what Paul said, and we discussed in the breakout room how we were very affected by that meditation, Andy, thank you. But there was one thing in particular, I found it an opportunity to find the earth and the atmosphere, the sky, in a very animated way, but I realized when I connected with the sky, a huge sense that probably hadn't really quite touched me as much before, you know, how we're desecrating it. And so that was really quite a sad and touching feeling for me, having this sense of looking more specifically of the atmosphere that's being the father to the earth, and imagining how clear and beautiful and blue it can be, but how we're polluting it. So, you know, it was a very, very, very extraordinary connection. Thank you very much. Yeah.
No, it's good that you mentioned that. It's not part of this particular session to go into how we've harmed not only the sky, but also the earth.
Mm.
But it's certainly, I've done a lot of meditations on this. And when it comes to the earth, for instance, I find it particularly challenging and painful to think about the extractivism of our culture. When you think of the earth as our mother, it's like we're taking her blood or something. It's really kind of, can be quite distressing. And maybe another time we can do some work on that in this kind of context. But there's an incredible mileage in this earth and sky meditation, and it's something you can develop. Yeah, and the pollution is very difficult, but it's something we need to acknowledge as well, because we are collectively responsible for our parents. That's what happens, isn't it? And we've got to that stage now in human history where if we don't take good care of them, dare I say, we've had it. So we'd better. Okay, thank you, Robin. Thank you very much, and thank you, everybody. I want to actually continue now with another meditation rather than have more discussion. We will have a little bit more discussion after that. So would you please get into a meditation posture again for a second meditation? Set your body the way that you know, especially your spine should be straight and your shoulders should be balanced. And again, bring your attention to your heart space. You don't need to make it too big this time, but you know, big enough so that the energies can move freely. And just be in the heart space without thinking for a while. Just feeling. And this awareness, which is feeling, is on a journey into the future. It came from the past. This awareness is in the present. but it's traveling into the future. And this future is not something towards which we are traveling. It's not a fixed thing out there, like when you travel to a city or something. No. This future is something we are creating. And we can only create it by what we are doing in the present. Just sit with this awareness. The journey, the past and future, and the opportunity of the present. And just be there in your heart space with this opportunity of the present. And see how your life up till now has been leading you to this time, this moment. And what you are right now is produced by everything in your life so far. And again, feel the heart space is able to contain all that without having to reject anything. And this time that we're in, this decade of the 2020s, this is a very crucial time in the history of the world. Don't take it too heavily. Just be here in your heart space, in the present time, this decade. Feeling something like, I am here at this time. With the opportunity to participate in co-creating the future of the world, and sit with that feeling in your heart center. And be aware that this time is probably a great turning point where collectively we need to let go of many things we have taken for granted. parts of our civilization which have become a problem. And in the letting go, we discover a space for creating a new civilization. What some people call an eco-civilization. Just stay in your heart space, feeling the impact of these words, especially with reference to Mother Earth and Father Sky. I am here at this time with this opportunity to participate in co-creating a new eco-civilization. In harmony with Mother Earth and Father Sky. Allow the feeling or awareness of this to fill your heart space. Okay, thank you very much. That's the end of this meditation. Now we have another 10 minutes for sharing with the whole group. Anything that came out of this meditation for you that you would like to express in words, especially if you didn't speak before, but not excluding those who did, if you wish. Would anybody like to share something from your heart? What do you feel about being in this time? Yeah, Niv, unmute. Thank you.
Hi, Andy. Thank you very much for this session. It's totally mind-blowing. It's the first time we meet in this lifetime, but just want to say that this last meditation from my side, you're just talking about the next turning of the wheel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Niv, and very nice to meet you. And I hope we connect again before we die.
Same here.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Somebody else? There's two screens, I know, so I'm only on one of them. I don't know if there's somebody on the other one. I'll just have a quick look. I can't see any hands up. It's really, yeah. Anne, did you want to speak? Go on, say something. You have to unmute. Just say something, whatever comes into your mind.
Well, two things. Thank you so much, Andy. So wonderful to be with you today. Really, really special. So special. Two things. One is every time you say Mother Earth and Father Sky, very wonderful imagery, but I'd like to add sibling seas. Yesterday,
Sibling seas. Wow. Yes, yes.
Yesterday I was in the sea at Westcliff, and it was a really powerful experience of the connection of the beach, the sea, the skies were amazing. It was really, really, really precious. And really all evening I kept thinking about the damage we're doing to the seas. And yeah, it was really, really potent. But along with that, in this meditation particularly, that sense of opportunity was really powerful. That reminder that there is a real groundswell of movement to turn this around, you know, and we must never forget that, because it's very powerful, and that voice is getting louder and louder, and it's really wonderful to be reminded of that opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks. And when you say this voice is getting louder and louder, that's how it sounds to me too. And it really keeps me going.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Anne. Lovely to see you again. And I saw that Alina wants to speak.
Hello, Andy. Thank you so much for the wonderful meditation. And during meditation, I've really felt myself like open up, and this openness and bliss of being connected with nature. And what really comes to mind is that nature is so much more beautiful and so much more precious, and brings us so much more health and importance than all of the like clutter that we accumulate in our lives. And yeah.
That's a really important point, because of course we have accumulated this clutter, but we need to let go of continuing to do that. It's like it's unsustainable. And actually we need a culture where people don't have all this clutter, but we can recycle a lot of it and pass it on. So there's probably enough to go around already being produced in the world. Okay, thank you, Alina, very good. And Venerable Namdral?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, no, just to mention as well, like how the turning point that you mentioned, that touched me, and how the voice is really getting louder and louder, and how I'm the point that really like taking responsibility. What can I do? You know, every action, and at the same moment, because I'm the director of the center in Brazil, so I also like how much we can do as well, or not do it. But it's really the voice is getting louder and louder.
So nice to hear you say that as well. Yeah, maybe the more people say that, the more it's actually true anyway as well. No, it's wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, we've got time for a few more to share. Who else? Danny, and then Josephine. SP Danny, do you want to share? No? No. Okay. Josephine?
Andy, thank you very much. Nice to see you again. I think when you say of civilization, it's just pouring in about those different culture in different countries. There's totally different form of, there's so much fighting and war around in this civilization. And it's difficult to accept what you see and saw. I mean, the Bushita part is so difficult. What can be done? I mean, why people are so naive and so delusional and so grasping, and it's just hitting me all the time. It's difficult. That's what I feel, man.
Thank you. Yeah, no.
I think England went through the same age you were, same age that could say everything, and now you see the Muslim world and all this are coming in. And it's playing, it is a revolving, and we call it recycling, whatever it is. I mean, but it's just coming back again. I mean, the whole world is the civilization. It's too much suffering. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, killing each other is just so useless.
Yeah.
And unnecessary. It doesn't help anything at all. And it's part of what we inherited from the past. And it's very, very much something collectively we need to let go of. We need to stop producing all weapons.
Yeah.
Right from handguns to nuclear weapons. We just need to stop creating them. and especially stop the wish to use them. And this is part of the transformation of consciousness that we need. I think it's possible, and I am optimistic that there is something underway, even though there is still a lot of bad stuff going on. And I think the coming decades will be even more sharp. I think, unfortunately, there probably will be more bad stuff, but hopefully this groundswell of wishing for a change and making it happen will also grow strong.
But
But
probably it's
nothing's
transforming
certain.
their mind.
Ah,
Transforming their mind. Because I have weapons around everywhere with me, knives, everything. I don't use it, but it's transforming their mind. How can we do that more quickly? How transform their mind more quickly?
Well, sometimes in history, mental transformations, collective mental transformations have happened quickly. Humans are quite capable of transforming quickly, especially when the need must, you know. We'll have to see. I don't want to make too many optimistic predictions because, to be honest, quite often I'm feeling quite pessimistic myself. And I think we're on a knife edge between optimism and pessimism. And it comes to a point where you just have to get on and do what you can in a positive direction, regardless of whether or not you succeed. You have to do it. And if enough of us do it, then collectively we will succeed. Okay, one more maybe. These are big questions. Yeah, Victoria.
Can I talk a bit about the flip side, the fear side? You know, so when you start talking about a new eco-civilization, I start getting anxious and fearful. I have like visions of those Hunger Game movies, you know, where people are fighting for food and they're all struggling to fight for the last resources. And I'm thinking, that's like something we put in our head, these types of movies of survival. How can we transform that into something that's more positive, abundant, sharing, harmonious? And I agree with Josephine. I think it starts with our own mind. What advice would you give when that fear comes?
I think that this story of, you know, people will go around with weapons to grab the last resources. I think that there is an element of that within our collective consciousness, which we bring from the fears, the traumas, if you like, collective traumas of the past. We've had 2 huge world wars in the 20th century, and many, many really heavy things have happened, and people don't just overcome that easily. However, as we all know, there is another story, which is to do with our potential for love and compassion, which is very, very strong also. And that is also manifesting in the world. I mean, you know, the patron of FDCW, His Holiness Dalai Lama, has probably done more than any individual on this planet to promote that and help to bring it to the fore. And it is widespread, not just through active, you know, programs and so forth, but actually just coming spontaneously from the heart of individuals. And so, you know, we are caught between different possibilities of the future. But the important thing, as I said in the meditation, is to feel the opportunity I myself have to contribute something positive towards the future. None of us can do more than that. There's no point in getting disturbed and anxious and upset about what if it all goes wrong. The only thing to do is to make use of the opportunity we as an individual have, and then of course working with others, so we're not just on our own. We're part of a group, a community, and there, as I said earlier, there's many communities that we belong to, and we can work with any of them or all of them, each in their own different ways. That's all we can do. We can't do more than that individually. So we just have to do our best and not get too worried about if it all goes wrong. You know, that can destroy you also, the fear. Okay, thank you very much. Now, the final part of this session, which we haven't got very long, is a checkout. In the checkout, you're going to go back into your same breakout groups, and each of you briefly share with the rest of the group how you feel now. And you might like to remember what you said at the beginning about yourself, and just sort of, take it forward now. How are you leaving this session? And we'll just give that about 5 minutes, and then finally come back briefly for me just to say goodbye, basically. Okay, so into the breakouts again.
Sorry, and they have for how long? 5 minutes or
5 minutes, 5 minutes. So you've got about 1 minute each in the checkout.
okay, all right, here we go. Victoria, why is Victoria? Oh, okay, I see. Sorry, it's kind of Michaela's computer crashed, so.
Right, yeah, I thought something must have happened.
But she's coming back. I don't know why she.
She'll come back, I think.
Come back. Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know who Rob is.
Me neither.
New person, maybe.
Yeah.
Irina, I don't know. I don't know. Tanushka, I know.
Tanushka's having issues
Yeah,
joining the breakout room, and it's the same with
yeah.
So I don't know. We just
okay. Yeah, not to worry.
Yeah, why am I now? This is really strange.
Well, this always gets a little bit messy at the end. And don't worry too much.
No, just trying. I did assign. Yeah, I did assign Rob, but that's
okay. Well, might have chosen not to go. Sometimes people don't want to do it.
Yeah, it might be so. No problem.
Nice discussion.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I did love that sense of like, because it does give. I feel that it gives me power.
Yes. That's really
important. To do something, because
yes.
I do. If I don't think about it, most of the time it's almost like all these decisions are taken by the ones in the high powers, and
exactly.
And then you're always discontent and unhappy because you don't do enough or whatever, and you're like, but why doesn't it the whole collective move?
Yes. Yeah, it's because it's not at the top of the news. Like, I think the most important thing that happened in Glasgow for the COP was the march of 100,000 people in Glasgow, plus people all over the world. To me, that's the most important thing. What was discussed in the conference was, I don't trust it anyway.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, how good.
But that 100,000, these people all care so much. And many of them came a long way to be there.
Yeah. The huge walk.
You could give them 2 minutes or something.
Yeah, they have like 1.5, and then they're gonna have this.
Okay, right. Okay.
Stick. Yeah. To go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there were people that walked from. I didn't know that, from Spain and from other, from it's like almost like a Camino de Santiago, like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was really, really wonderful, and it shows how much people care. And everybody's affected. Everybody knows now, I feel. Everybody knows how serious it is. And of course, some people can't face it because of feeling powerless or, frightened, and many reasons. So I think our role is to try to generate a space where people feel they can participate comfortably. That's to me, that's the main role.
Yeah, I think that one of the most dangerous things is apathy.
I don't know if apathy, I think it's really a reflection of a feeling of powerlessness.
Yeah.
Kind of a disillusion.
Yeah, but
and that is really sad, yeah.
Yeah.
Apathy means not caring. I think that the people who are disillusioned do care, but they just feel they can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, maybe not the same, but yeah, sort of like, yeah, but we can do so much, why don't we remember?
Yeah, so much, even just with a few people. Anyway, a lot of people are doing a lot, so that's also good.
Yeah. It's just, again, one needs to not to listen to the mainstream media too much.
Yeah, it can be a problem.
Yeah, otherwise it's it. Okay, so that's it.
Okay, thank you.
30 seconds now.
Yeah, and at the end, I'm just going to say goodbye, mainly. Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck. Goodbye and good luck.
Goodbye. Stay together.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, maybe that might be it actually. Right, so we've come to the end of our time together, and I really just want to say goodbye and good luck, and to emphasize, we are not alone. You are not alone. One of the main problems is a feeling of powerlessness, and even in oneself, one is actually powerful. So we need to discover that power within ourselves. And then when we join together with others, then we become much more powerful. And everybody can do something. In fact, more than one thing, almost certainly. But there are things which are right for you in your situation, with your community, and which are positive and contribute towards the future that we want to see. We want to see a positive future. And we can co-create it. We don't need to rely on so-called leaders or, that's actually not so good. But if we work on a horizontal plane with each other, humans have so much potential. It's been proved throughout history, and it can be proved during this time. So that's where I want to finish. And I want to say great big goodbye, love, hug, many kisses and everything. And have a good journey until we meet again. Okay.
Thank you, Andy. On behalf of everyone here, and on behalf of FDCW, I just want to say a quick thank you so much for your such generous sharing and these incredible meditations. And I know other people will be watching them later. And I'm just going to ask you to please come back to the FDCW community in a webinar for next year's conference, because I think what you offered was really precious and it really helped everyone here. So please, thank you, and please come back. Thank you, everyone. Oh, and the next session is Craig Mackey at 3 o'clock.